guess we can get started for call number 22. I shared the agenda in the Zoom link, so everyone should have that. First item on the agenda is hard fork coordination update. I think Hudson posted a quick update on that in the chat. Actually, no, his update was not about that at all. So on the last Core Devs call, I can give a quick update. It's been 2 weeks now, so it's a bit fuzzy, but we discussed a lot, like the process that we want to use for the next hard fork after Istanbul. So there was a lot of back and forth about how do we actually do this EIP-centric process, what should it look like, and that's really what like most of the calls centered around. I don't think there were like specific conclusions rather than like just reaching a better general understanding of what that process implies. But yeah, we're still mostly trying to work out the kinks of the process and see how we can change things. I don't know if anybody else wants to comment on this.
Nothing specific. I just want to reiterate the things that we discussed regarding ECH, that we should be having EIP listed separately. Like we do not want to go back to each and every meeting notes to identify which EIP is having what status. So it's a big, good and helpful that we list it separately in suggestions section when we prepare the notes for that.
Yeah, and the notes Edson just shared in the chat are great about that. I think they show pretty clearly, you know, where things are at, yeah, I think, yeah, this is it's valuable to have all this information sort of easily accessible. Cool. Anything else on the Core Devs calls? Okay. Next thing was the community initiative brainstorming update. So we had a call last week to discuss this. I don't know, does anyone want to give a recap? I know Pooja, I think you were on there as well.
Actually, one thing from the Core Devs call, they wanted us to make a list of eligible for inclusion EIPs before they figured out where to put it.
Oh, it's true. And I think James was Did you, Edson, do you know if James Hancock is aware of this or like working on this?
You're breaking up a bit, Tim.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, I recall James Hancock saying he would look into this as well. I was wondering, Edson, if you knew whether he had or not at all.
I haven't been in contact with him.
Okay. Yeah, I can follow up with him on that and see like whether he's actually doing it or if the cat herder should put the list together.
Sounds good.
And another thing, I guess, William, we were supposed to check with you on the PR that you and Tim would be doing for Ethereum.org about the ECH page. So you just mentioned that you would be providing some update.
Yeah, sure. So for anyone, actually, all of us were there at the Tuesday meeting other than you, maybe Edson. On last Tuesday, we discussed maybe providing some additional information for the Ethereum.org website to help onboard newcomers to the Ethereum ecosystem in general, just to help them find their niche. Niche might be a good way of putting it. I preliminarily drew up a page. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna try and get the link over here. I don't have it right here. It's gonna take me a minute to find it. I've drawn up a rough draft. I'm looking for feedback on it, so I'm going to post a link to GIST with the information. I'm open to ideas about what to do about it. Another thing that was discussed was the EIPs. Should I talk about that now, or is there anything else about the Ethereum.org website?
No, go for it. Oh, or sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying.
Okay, great. Another subject that was brought up was maybe that the cat herders might get involved in the EIP system. It seems like there's a lot of friction there. So the first step, there was an action item that was assigned to me to try and get in touch with the EIP editors. So thus far, I've only been able to get in touch with Hudson and one other editor, Nick Savers. On the bright side, since we've got Hudson, Hudson said that he would try and get in touch with a bunch of the other ones for me. That's actually, I think, one of the reasons why he said he's not able to make the call. So I guess you could all blame me for that. So the preliminary responses that I got from Nick Savers, I put in the Gitter, in addition to another one that I got by posting in the official Ethereum EIP Gitter. Right now, I'd say we're still in the collecting information phase. We're trying to figure out how to get in touch with people. There are some things that seem to be clear now, which is that there's a lot of maintenance issues. Nick Savers pointed out, one of the editors, Nick Savers pointed out that a lot of EIPs are probably zombie EIPs at this point, that there's no one who's actually interested in maintaining them. All that it would take to clean up things like that would just be looking at the author field in EIPs, reaching out to authors and just asking them if they're still interested in trying to maintain a process. There's a lot we could do just probably in terms of cleaning things up. So as we collect information, I'll definitely try and keep everybody posted about that, but that's where that stands right now.
Yeah, I think if the cat herders could literally just prune all the EIPs, right? You know, and like kind of leave a warning saying like, hey, are you still working on this? And, you know, otherwise we'll mark it as like inactive or something. I feel like that would be like that would go a long step of the way towards making the list more manageable, and reducing sort of just the burden not only on the editors but also on the people who come in and want to contribute, where they just see there's like, I don't know, a backlog of like hundreds of EAPs, to just be able to quickly flag, you know, which ones are stale and which ones are actually being developed. And it doesn't take like any great technical skills to do that, right? It's just looking through it, pinging the person, you know, anything that hasn't been updated in, I don't know, 3 months or more, we just ping people. And then we set ourselves a reminder to follow up in like a couple more months, you know, and request to mark it as inactive or something if there hasn't been an update.
Yeah, that'd be a job I'd love to do. If there's not too many, how many is there? Like more than 100 inactive ones, or? I haven't looked lately.
It, but I'd imagine that there are, to be honest.
But I could get started on it. But yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. You don't have to commit to the whole thing, but I think, like right now, I see on the repo there's 136 open pull requests, and how many issues, and 396 issues. So there's probably like 500 total across those two. Not all, and not all of them, you know, a lot of them are actually like still being developed. So I think if you can basically start from the back and kind of make your way towards it.
And spend a day a week working on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Oh, and there is like a tag already that I see that's like follow up with author, which I assume must be something like,
someone else is trying to do some cleanup work.
Yeah, Axic. So if you see on GitHub, there's this user Axic, which seems to be adding this label.
Alex. Yeah, Alex is one of the editors. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe just talking with Alex. His last name starts with a B. I can never pronounce it. It's Alex.
Sounds like it's Bergazazzi or something like that.
Yes. So Brent, if you ping me on Gitter, I'm happy to put you in touch. But
yeah, I think I've worked with Alex. He's great. So
okay. Yeah. So maybe he can help kind of, you know, tell you where's the highest impact place to review EAPs and whatnot.
Okay.
Yep.
Do we want to wait until we've heard back from more EIP editors, or do we think this is non-contentious enough?
I think I would ask Alex. Alex is an EIP editor. Just ask him, you know, hey, we want to review the stale EAPs. Where should we get started? And I think that's probably non-contentious enough. Like if Nick told us this is something to do and Alex kind of points us in the direction, it seems like we have some consensus that this is worthwhile. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure. Sounds great.
Cool. And yeah, thanks for digging into this. Like, I think, yeah, this is a really cool initiative that we can spearhead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just one thing, moving back one subject, I posted a link to a GIST I made of just like a markdown document that would be the information that we'd be trying to add to ethereum.org. If anybody has any comments, they can ping me and get her or anything like that.
Cool. Yeah, I'll try to review this week and leave some comments.
Do you think I should go ahead and make a PR to Ethereum right now for this?
Or I think.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, you'll get more reviews there as well. And I'm happy to comment, as well on the PR. That makes sense.
Okay, great.
Yep.
So if anyone's doing action items, I guess that would be an action item just to check in with me. I'll try and make a PR to Ethereum to try and get that moved on.
Great. So this kind of bundled like the sort of brainstorming session we had last week and the community initiatives updates. Is there anything else that came up that we should discuss?
Just give me a second. I'm just.
Oh yeah, Pooja, you have the document. Yeah.
Yeah. I just shared the link over here. So it says that like we should be reviewing the issues, the open issues at ECH GitHub, and like every week. I don't see any new issue open. The one we have last is from June. So I mean, like there are two options. We can start reviewing all the older issues and try to close it as much as possible, or from this point onwards, we can take up issues and try to address it. So it's all open.
Well,
yeah, so
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'm just looking at the issues list right now. There's two about state fees, which I don't think state fees is being worked on, so we can probably close those. I'm happy to close those right now. And yeah, maybe it's just worth it for us to like review the list that's there and make sure that like the ones that are open are still actually open.
Maybe one other thing regarding the issues. Pooja, I think you were talking about maybe trying to use the issues tracker for also as just sort of a place where to help onboard people and know about broader ecosystem issues. Would we be using the PR issues for that?
Yeah, I think that would be helpful. Like I see that in your GitHub link that you have shared, you already have mentioned GitHub issues and Caterer use this issue tracker. I think that would be helpful for new people to know where to raise a question. Like if they have something in mind and they want to know, they can come here and raise it. I mean, how does that sound to everybody else over here?
Yeah, I think using the issues as like the default place where people log things is good.
How are we going to populate it though? That was going to be my follow-up question. One is I just need to know which issue tracker. That link is dead, for instance. I need to put a link into it. But also, how are we going to populate the list? Like, how do we get that to be a destination for general ecosystem issues?
I think the PM issue should be good enough. I mean, like I have pasted the link over here, the ECH PM issues. So that should be the central point of repository because we are doing most of the things in PM repo only. So that would be the one which would be often visited.
So people probably, it might be wise for anybody here if they have a bit of a social media presence to maybe even broadcast that as an option. Like I can post an Ethereum Magicians, but I don't really have a profile for Reddit and my Twitter doesn't really have any visibility. And we probably want to broadcast that a bit as a place where people can actually literally raise issues, if you forgive the pun.
Yeah, I'll make sure that I will add this in my newsletter as well as will mention it specifically when we are anything related to Caterer. So yeah, we'll mention it specifically. I mean, like I would find it much better, like when you are done with your PR thing and it is officially posted in the ethereum.org page as well. That would be helpful one point. But yes, from our end also, we'll try to make sure that we are shouting out for this in social media.
Great.
Do the cat hunters have a Twitter, or we would be using the official Ethereum Twitter?
No, we can use a cat herder. I don't have access to official. We can request, of course, Hudson to take care of that. Maybe in Tim or Hudson, if you guys can also like mention this in the Codev calls, that would be helpful too. And yeah, if it is retweeted with the Ethereum Twitter, that.
So what exactly do we want to tweet from the Twitter? Sorry, I was looking at the issues quickly.
Yeah, so we were discussing that like we are trying to make Ethereum ECH PM section for the landing page for people. If we have any question, they can come here and an issue. So we just wanted to spread the word out that this is so
yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it'd be worth discussing this, just like with Hudson. He has access to the Twitter. I can totally see like if the cat herders, if we just write like a quick, blog post that explains what we're trying to do here, to have at least the Ethereum Twitter sort of retweet that so that we get the visibility, that would be really good.
Good. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's probably pretty reasonable. Any more updates on the community initiatives? Okay, funding, accounting, multi-sig, Gitcoin discrepancy. I think we agreed that like this was pretty much solved last time, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and then Ethereum 2.0 bounties. Anyone has an update on this?
I am not sure about the complete entire update, but yes, I have seen that they have started working on it, and I received my bounty, which was long due.
Nice.
For, call 25, I believe, but we are now on call 28 or 29. So if anybody does not have received it, so you can mention that, or I'm sure that they are working on it now. I mean, this is, I can say that, but I do not have a, exact information. I believe Hudson and Brett are working with Danny on that.
Cool.
Yeah, I tried to contact Danny about the issue I raised in the chat. Brett's last meeting didn't get linked in the README, and I submitted I'm sorry, Brett's notes didn't get linked into the README for his meeting that he did, and I did the most recent one, or Jim did, and I submitted a link just for the README, but I was trying to contact Danny about fixing the links and getting, because it almost seems like to me we're duplicating effort, and the team is using a different set of notes for their meetings than the ones we're doing, and ours may be getting linked from Pooja's news and stuff like that, but the main system isn't linking to our notes. So I'm wondering if they're just being ignored, if they're doing anyone any good. And when you go to the Google Doc quick and dirty notes, you see a lot of people in there using those notes. But anyway, I'm kind of feeling like there's some inefficiencies going on there, wondering if us doing additional work to take notes is benefiting anyone. But anyway, just kind of we're wondering about that.
Yeah, I mean, I also have this this concern. Like, I realized that for ETH2 specifically, I mean, like I was not looking into ETH2 before, but when I started looking into it, then I realized that our note submissions are quite delayed, and in the meanwhile, two people over there, they are helping out with most of the notes. So Mami is there, and I guess Ben Eddington.
Yeah, Ben.
Yeah. So they are helping with the notes, and since we do not have our notes ready, they are using their notes to go ahead and discuss it. And this is the reason why I requested everybody to submit it in 72 hours. I mean, if we can do it before that, that would be great. But at least we should make some, some SLA for ourselves that by this time, definitely you'll be gonna have this thing listed over there. Then probably they would eventually start linking our things, because when I did that for S2 last time, it was there because I submitted it within 24 hours, so it was there. But I saw that many notes were delayed. So I mean, hoping that if we follow the protocol of submitting it within 72 hours, eventually they would start doing it. But for the past things, I think it's a good idea to discuss with Danny and get those linked.
Yeah, we made it in just over 24 hours with the with our last notes. We put in the effort to try, but Ben got his notes in 5 hours before we got ours in, and everyone was using that one. So
They are
yeah.
beating us. Yeah. So for at this point of time, I think it would be a good idea to check with Danny, and we need to communicate it to him that yes, we are doing the effort since you guys are also paying us ECH for this particular job. So we'll make sure that you get your notes, and that would be useful. We will not try to delay it or something like that. That was the reason we took it in our hand, that we would be getting it efficiently and on time, that it should be useful for the community.
I just wish I was as good as Pooja is doing all this kind of stuff. It's a real pain for us, because going in and like with the last one, there was some people that had some accents that we really had to work trying to understand what's going on, what they're saying. We have to Google for stuff, and going through all that stuff just takes forever. It's hard to get it done within 24 hours, but yeah.
Yeah, I get that part. People have different accents in both the calls, but I think if we keep on listening to their call regularly, we will be getting there. I don't know if people understand me. I try to make them, make my words clear. I hope that it would work for all of us.
Yeah, sometimes I have trouble making my words clear, even though I consider myself fluent in English.
Yeah, I think we can move on, and on ProcPaw thing, Tim, you can.
Okay, sure. Yeah, okay, so nothing else on the community side? And oh, sorry, the 2.0 bounty side?
Nothing more.
Okay. So for ProgPow, Hudson, myself, and Charles have been looking into what to do with the extra CLR funds. We have a couple updates. One is that the EF agreed to leave their extra funds with the cat herders, so we can use those funds. Yeah, so that's great. That's like $4,000.
Wow.
The second good thing is that Atlantic Crypto, which was the biggest donator through the Gitcoin page, agreed that we use that we don't refund them, and that we instead refund the community contributors. So basically, every individual who funded on the Gitcoin page will be getting a full refund of their contribution back, which is nice. So we're sending the transactions out kind of this week. So basically, yeah, any single person who gave money is getting their money back, which is cool. And this last bit we need to talk with is Bitfly. So I think what's going to happen with Bitfly is we will refund them. And Hudson had a better update there, but from what I understood, I think they're just going to donate to other Gitcoin projects, which may or may not include the cat herders, but they'll like redistribute those funds in the community as well. So yeah, I mean, it's a pretty great outcome. Like, yeah, I'm pretty excited about that everybody who contributed to the audit managed to get a refund.
If we have a way of giving Atlantic a shout out for that, that would be really amazing.
Yeah. We're gonna do a blog post about this. We just want to get like the final sort of statements from Atlantic, from the EF, and from Bitfly. And once we have all those, and you know that like all the transactions are sent and whatnot, then we'll do a proper blog post explaining it.
Cool.
But yeah, this was super cool. So that's the ProgPow update. which I think we can probably remove this from the agenda going forward, just because, yeah, it's pretty much done.
And a big thank you to the Ethereum Foundation that and that they have saved us from getting back to them for our future work.
Yeah. This is obviously really cool. Yeah, and okay, so the next point was just future business. I put in one thing there, which was an ETC workshop. I know a couple people wanted to do something at ETC. I don't know if anyone on this call will be at ETC or is planning to go. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I ought to be there.
So if you're planning to go, I just shared a link in the Google Docs. I put together a draft of a workshop submission. If you have comments, this is great. And if you want to add your name so I can add you as like a presenter, that would also be great. I think we should literally, have all the cat herders there, try and moderate a workshop on, just explaining what the cat herders are, trying to get more people to contribute and just trying to get community feedback on what we're doing. So I can post this again in the Giller to make sure everybody sees it. But I think, in the next week or two, it could be nice to submit this and try to get a cat herders workshop.
Great.
Yeah, that's what I had. Is there anything else anyone wants to discuss?
Yeah, just one thing I have been requesting it for a while. This is an issue which I created long back in June. There are two things as of now that might need attention. One is the contribution guideline for newcomers, that is the ECH contribution guideline, and emergency com template has, it's anyway out of our agenda, but I would request anybody to, approve and close it. I received the last comment from Hudson, and he mentioned that I think this is great. I also requested Lane and Charles if they have any further comment, but I believe they might not have because I don't see anything mentioned over here. So I can't do that, but if somebody else can just go ahead and close this would be helpful for people who are coming on board. It's long due.
Sure. I'm happy to close it. I've reviewed it a couple times and don't have any comments, but I'm happy to. Oh, one change requested. Who? Oh, Lane requested change.
Yeah, but that's pretty old and redundant now. Like that file had been updated so many times, so it's.
So I think that Lane will need to. So there's two things I think you'll need to do to get it merged. One is just the conflict, which should be pretty easy to resolve already now.
So here's the
so
thing.
Yeah, I think
the file in which he raised conflict does not need to be merged. Only two files, I have mentioned it here, only two files need to be merged, and that does not have any conflict.
Okay, but wait, I think I just managed. I think, okay, so I fix your conflict on the branch. Oh, and I can merge the pull request. Okay, so I'm happy to merge it right now. Done.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you, Tim.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. This is long overdue. Cool. Anything else we want to discuss?
Next meeting's in 2 weeks, same time, right?
Yep. Yeah, so if we can just have someone create an agenda for the next meeting, that would be great.
Okay, sounds good. We are 25 minutes early.
Great. We all get 25 minutes back. I'm glad we did this call, though. I think it was productive.
Yeah, I mean, I was not feeling well. I thought if there is no call, I'll be very happy. But yeah, I'm happy that it happened and I joined that. Thank you.
Yeah, what's going on with India? Some of my engineers working on our project, they're all sick and the pollution's really bad. Feel bad for you guys.
Oh no, right now I'm in United States.
Oh,
But
you're in the United States. Oh, okay.
yeah,
Never mind.
it's just the weather changed. Like the temperature is drastically changing, right, from 50 to 30 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what they're doing, man. Yeah.
All right. So I guess that's it. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Be well, everyone. I'm
Yeah.
out.
Cool.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Take care.